steady doing videos, right? And then I'm looking at them and I'm watching them and I'm looking at them and I'm watching them. And I'm like, nah, I ain't giving y'all that. I ain't putting that up. But what I will say to the value of what I did just do is because even when I think, I try to make sure that I'm giving the glory to divine, regardless of the fact, because it's the ongoing power. It's never going to stop, and that causes everything. Bottom line, from start to finish, that is the reason the most powerful creations are in existence. That's the reason that we're able to connect to a value of fortuitive growth. So what I will say about what I was doing before was, no matter what we believe in the fears, each new creation is a new being to the circumstance. Just like they want you to believe you're getting older when each year it's a new age. You know what I'm saying? And depending on how you live within your new age, it will be new to you as well. And a new energy for you as well. Just connecting to my youth, to my young, to my seeds, you know what I'm saying? And having a conversation with my son. And just knowing that I probably would have wanted more guidance from me in that circumstance or in his overall circumstance. But ultimately, I was able to see that divine was with him as he is with me. I'll just say it like that. Like, the manifestation was beautiful. So it was less to pull on. Most of the time, we deal with society and we want to control every aspect. We want to know everything, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, and most of the time, you don't get a chance to know everything because potentially some things are just not for you, period. You know what I'm saying? So you might be dealing with things that are not for you. This is why you can't know everything about it. So divine is keeping you safe in a certain aspect. Sometimes it feels like when you losing something, you know what I'm saying, or you haven't gained something, that you're missing out, when in fact certain things ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's for you is going to be for you in the correct energy, though. It's like, you know how sometimes you may bake a pie or bake a cake or have some pizza or something, you know what I'm saying? You about to roll up in smoke and the wrong people come around. You like, I got to get this to you type energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, so ultimately I remember when I was younger and I was at an aunt house and she was like, y'all can't eat that. I was like, why not? You got it out for everybody. It's not for you. It's for the people of the party. I'm like, what do you mean it's not for us? My mother even was like that. Y'all can't eat that. What you mean we can't eat it? It's out for people to mingle and eat. Not for you. That was funny to me, just like being able to tie that energy in with the same thing, right? So, ultimately divine don't shout us on nothing. He's working regardless. And the level that we stand in, as far as the existence that we stand in, how firm we stand in our existence, is how stable you become. That piece of the block, that brick, to lay something as like you on top of your shoulders to keep that going up, which is the existences of your creations, right? That's how light travels on the finite level. The breakdown, the residue, right? Down on this level, it travels through our creations. So the more we instill that value directly to, you know, and what's the value? The value is the expectancy of things that went through your life that you understood, good, bad, and indifferent, not to just serve you, but to a lesson factor, to the fact that you was a teacher and a student of your own life. We're paying homage through those aspects to the constant energy of divine pretense. Once understanding this and you lock this in, then your life becomes its own testimony. You know what I'm saying? So then knowing that your DNA is going to follow the same potential aspect of how you walk in some aspect or ratio, then you can give pointers through your expectancy. That means what you went through in your decisions. You don't have to veer off and get somebody else's understanding or somebody else's template. You can go directly to what you experience and say, hey, look, this what you got to deal with, because I remember that. And I understand exactly where you're coming from. Instead of getting into your ego and try to say, well, look, nah, F all that. Tighten up and be real enough to express to your creations your vulnerability. So therefore you can give them a clean space to build off. Once you express the vulnerabilities, you give them a clean sheet to deal with. Majority of the time, they don't get a clean sheet because they go into the world with DNA imperfections that the parents do not sit down and deliberate with them because of them understanding the indifference of what they went through. They don't give that to the children. You just expect the child to do it. And then if they start doing it, it hurts your feelings because you don't do it. You don't feel good. You get jealous. This is the reality. Divine don't make mistakes. Divine said, I am. Come to me and I'll make sure you don't know no sickness, no death. You will not age. People want to take these pretenses from the energy and usurp them into religion, when in fact there is not a religion. There is nothing to rely on. There is just divine pretense. That is not a religion. That's patah. That's the connection from the earth to the universe. Period. It's not pastor. That's piaster. Not, you know what I'm saying? Piaster is derivative from patah. That's the connection from the surface to the universe. It's not a religion. It never was. So when people get lost in these values, it's because they were manipulated into these things. To have a finite connection is always great. We can do that anywhere though. We can do that anywhere. And see, the world changed it into these different aspects of labeling so you can be marked as these people who believe. The darkness does not have a newspaper or light searchers or fucking guards, or the dark doesn't have none of that. It's darkness. It's unknown. It's the reason why you have faith. You can't see it. You don't know what's going to happen with it. So why somewhere in that you need to keep turning on lights? Scared of the dark. That's what it is. You're scared of the dark. Nah, that's what divine at. So then once you understand that and you know that for a fact, then you can close your eyes and go to sleep. That's faith. Even if you're going to die, you go through death in peace because you're going to ride through eternity. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the world propagates the value of pain and failure. So then for the most part, we gravitate to hold on to. So then it's incremental value for something to gravitate to, when ultimately you start to realize that we are all, or can be all, a part of all. You separate yourself when you do that. I heard somebody say the other day in a bill, it was like, I don't know where I caught it at. It might have been like a pass-through, but somebody was like, y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself to want to eat plants. Plants live too. And I was like, wait, so we got people who are against plants now? Like, you can't eat fruits and vegetables and stuff like that? Like, this person was going off. They was like, yo, they got life and they produce baby fruits and vegetables. I was like, yo, this is crazy, yo. What is the world coming to? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I was looking at the retrospective contrast. So I was like, well, I guess they can feel like that because a lot of people feel like that about animals. You know what I'm saying? So then what are you supposed to eat? You're supposed to starve to death? No, you're supposed to practice on just absorbing the universal energy from the earth, a human tree, breatharian. Wow, that's heavy. That's deep, especially when you've been addicted to everything in life, right? Could you actually go so far into divine to where you pull away from everything? Yes, you can. And what happens is, and see, this is why I believe they don't want nobody to smoke like that, because I've meditated while just smoking bud. And I would drink a little water, meditate for hours, smoke a blunt. Drink a little water, meditate for hours, and smoke a blunt. What would subsequently happen is the value of it making me hungry will reverse to something else. It would change into me being satisfied. So every time I went into this state of meditation, I would literally end up going like 11 hours not eating no food. Wasn't even working out, was sitting in the sun, and my body started ripping. The muscles started swelling. Six-pack came out. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was weird just sitting in the sun. And I was doing this for a while, and I would go, and then it'd be like 2 days, and I'd be like, yo, I forgot to eat. You don't even be focused on it because you're really feeding in on universal energy. But it takes a minute to get to that point. Like, you really got to be in the sun, planting your feet in the dirt, you know what I'm saying, drinking mineral water. Like, it has to be. And I was drinking water that was coming out of a spring, like out of the earth. So it was packed with stuff. It was packed with a whole bunch of things that the body needed regardless. So with the vitamin D, cross-reference that, and me blowing carbon, you know what I'm saying, it was like the balance, the THC receptors. I didn't feel the hunger. The hunger wasn't an addiction. The stomach didn't ignite to say, hey, you got to do this. I would go and stay in that process until the sun dropped. When the sun was gone, I could do everything else. But I was charged up at that point, super charged up. Didn't want no food, didn't want nothing. But I could do 100,000 pull-ups on the pull-up bar. You know what I'm saying? All night, be doing them in my studio all night. So just understanding these different values that I remember and experience, and then going back to food, you know what I'm saying, just being vegan, and then coming back to chicken and turkey, and then ultimately eating a little beef here and there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just watching that addiction take place. It's like everything. And I spoke to this value: your eyes need to see stuff, your ears need to hear stuff, your mouth need to taste things. These are all levels of addiction. And trying to find out how to relate these values into universal connections instead of the physical connections around you is a hard thing to do. But that is divinity. That is sustaining yourself off universal principle. You already know the vibes. NAGA.